Yo, what up? This is Hopsin with Funk Volume, giving a shout out to hardknocktv. What up?
Seems like the music has changed a little bit. Was there a moment of clarity or?
Yeah, when I went on tour last year, that was the start. I saw all these kids that really, they almost praised me. They were like praising me, and it blew my mind because this is stuff. I mean, it wasn't like millions of people or even thousands. It was just like hundreds of kids, but they almost like worshiped me, and I was looking and it threw my mind off because I've never even been in that type of situation or position in my whole entire life. I've seen it like with Michael Jackson and like Eminem watching DVDs, but I've never actually been the guy where kids look up to me and like, man, yo, and they're just like starstruck and shocked that I'm right there in their presence. And I was like, wow, what the heck is going on right now? Like, what did I do to get right here? It's crazy. And a lot of the people that look up to me are the people that my music appeals to. They're like, I feel like they're in a place in life where they're very confused, they're struggling, and they're lost. A lot of them are dropping out of school. They're heavily into drugs, and and they also want happiness. I can tell when I talk to a lot of fans after shows or before shows, and they want to be happy, but they're just like almost their life is going to a dead end, and I want to just put that ladder down so they can climb up over the wall and go somewhere else and enjoy themselves. So I don't want to brag about money and be like, yeah, I'm this and that, and not tell them the way of, like, I want to give them the ingredients or the what is the formula on how to reach success, instead of just deleting the whole struggle and just talking about the ending. Like, yeah, I got money now, I got girls, I got this, I got my whatever I got. I want to give them the formula. I want to let them journey with me on the way, so they can see things like, oh, this is how it's done, this is how it's done. It's not all about this, it's not all about this. I can't go to the club every night if I want to try to be successful. Last year on my Raw tour is when I realized it. And then earlier this year, man, like I've always been kind of questionable of God. I've always believed, but I never knew exactly what to believe. Like, because there's so many religions going on and all this, and I'm like, man, how am I supposed to live? Like, what is right? What is wrong? How am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to be? What am I supposed to do? In my heart, I always wanted to do right, but I never knew what right was. And I've always talked to a lot of people, and I just never knew. But it's weird. God reached down, he said, boom, this is what you are. And I was like, whoa. Not literally, like I didn't fly into the air, but that's what and this happened like a few months ago. It's like I just opened my eyes and I saw everything differently, and I was like, man, I'd actually feel bad now if I wrote a song that was like really negative and had no positive meaning to it, and that's never happened to me before. And nobody brainwashed me or got in my head or anything like that. I just saw this new reality, and I felt like I've been blinded, and I finally took the blindfold off, and I'm like, man, this is what's really going on. And then there's been a lot of things that happened in my life since I was a youngster up until now, and I didn't exactly know why they happened, but now that I'm older, I feel like God placed these little things and obstacles in my life. Like, if I was 5 years old and something happened, if I was 10 years old and this thing happened and I was struggling, if I was 15 and this happened and I was 20, and all these little things. And during the time I was confused, like, man, I don't know why I'm not doing this, or I don't know why I'm doing this, but I just feel the need to do it. Now I feel like God is just telling me what I need to do, and he's showing me the light. So I've been working on my relationship with God. And when you work on your relationship with God, it gets to a point where you don't want to walk down the sinful road anymore, because, I'm not trying to, I still do, because I'm human, but as my relationship gets closer to God, those things are just going to be cut off of my life just naturally. I'm just going to be like, I'm not going to want to do those things anymore because of what I'm becoming. So, and I'm not necessarily saying I'm going to be doing Christian music or music that always just talks about God and I'm always preaching, but I have found God, and I see things differently. Like, it's crazy to say, but I had to find out the devil existed before I knew that God exists fully. And it doesn't mean that I was a devil worshiper, but some people ignore the good things and the great things that God does, but we're quick to believe in the Illuminati and be like, oh, you sold your soul. But how are you gonna believe if somebody sells their soul to the devil? There obviously has to be a God. They're at, like, on the other side. There can't just, this world just isn't negative. There has to be a positive side to that. So I saw all this negative stuff going on in the music industry. I see all the negativity that's going on in the world, and I'm like, man, there's something going on here that's deeper than any human could create in this world. Like, the way people are acting, the music that's being played on the radio, the stuff that's on television. Why do, like, I'm a human. How come in my mind all I think about is sex and money? That's what I think about sometimes. Like, why am I driven so much by sex and money? How come that is all I want? Because I'm human and I'm in this society, and that's all they like teach. They do it in a subliminal way. I mean, if you go to school, they don't obviously teach that. But as a society, like, when you watch TV, all you see sex. It's like TV shows are damn near like pornos now almost. It's like a few steps away from a porno.
Yeah, we need to make a change while there's still time. It is hard, and sometimes I struggle trying to reveal mine. I can guide you if you feel blind. I just need you to be willing to journey into my ill mind.
I feel like God is going, no, don't lose hope, because these humans are driven by the ways of the flesh, and they are all brainwashed, and just God just saying, just stick with me, Marcus, and everything's gonna be good. Just follow my lead, and everything's gonna be good. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I talk a lot. I apologize, but yeah, that's kind of what's going on right now, man. I'm just working on my relationship, and it may seem corny, because we've been brainwashed to think that it's corny. When you think of somebody giving their life to God, you're like, oh man, he's gone now. He ain't the same God. Like, no, if God really does exist, if he is the creator of this whole universe and this world, then that means what's wrong with that? What's wrong with glorifying the God of who created the earth? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. This is the real reality. This is the real reality. I am showing love to my God, and everybody should. Now, I can see if I'm going around like 24/7 just being that guy who tries to convert every single conversation into a Jesus conversation, where it's like, hey man, how you doing? Yeah, God's great. Hey man, you wanna go skateboarding? God's great, man. You know, that's the devil, man. Don't do that. Yo man, you wanna go for a burger? Man, that's the devil. Like, if I was that guy, they'd be like, okay man, that's a little annoying, man. But yeah, I feel I'm doing what's right, man. This is reality. God is real, and I'm one of his children on the earth. This is reality. I'm not gonna ignore reality. You guys can live by the ways of man and follow all this technology and all that and be driven by whatever you see, but I know in my heart that God exists, and that's where I'm at right now. And you can deny it, but something's happening in this world, and the world's definitely going down, and yeah, it's about to pop off, son. So you better be ready.
Man, I hate rap, but if the shoe fits, wear it. I become a freak of nature, all the kids stare, who walk around bumping raw with the shit blaring, saying fuck school and dropping out like a miscarriage. I'm embarrassed, and I'm ashamed I played a part in this devilish game, making your common sense perish. But I ain't taking the full blame, cause most of you chumps running around here ain't never had strict parents.
When I was younger, I used to dream about the day where I had money and girls on my jock like crazy. I used to see people in high school like, man, I can't wait till I'm like that guy, or even better than that guy when it comes to having all these girls around me and being fly. And I used to want it so bad. Like, man, I can't wait till my time comes. I can't wait till I got all these people doing this, and I'm able to call girls at 3 o'clock in the morning, and they'll just get up for me and do whatever they want, because I'm gonna be that cool. Now I got it like that. And I never use the celebrity button. I don't do it, because I'm like, why? It's stupid. I have a girlfriend, of course, but even outside of that, I wasn't doing it before I had my girlfriend, because it's just one of those things where you get there and like, what the heck is, like, what is going on? What have I been working towards? Is this what I just threw my life away for these freaking hoes? And like, what, like, man, is this, like, I'm worth more than this. This is not life. So I got to that point, and other rappers, they fall under the influence of all that very hard, and they're out doing all. I feel like that's all they have to represent, though. They're not anything more than that. They're just, their whole existence is, they're almost, I feel like they're just space fillers. They're not really they don't really mean anything. So in their mind, they're like, man, I may not have this again, or I'm not worth more than this, so I got to take advantage of this while I'm getting it, because my record contract is going to be up pretty soon, and I need to have fun while I can. I feel like they're in that mindset, but I'm just like, I don't care about that. And if my career is going to end when I want it to end, or when it's time to end, it just is what it is. But it's not, I don't know, man. When I'm at shows and I see girls are crazy at shows. Like when I go there, I want to be the bad guy. There's the way my fleshly side wants to be the bad guy. I want to be the guy who just does everything wild, but my heart won't allow me to do that though. And when I go in there, I'm like, these girls, there's so many of them, and I could do whatever I want, but I can't. This isn't right. And because the girls, they're in the fake zone, and I'd be in the fake zone. I'm Hopsin at my shows. These girls, they're not themselves when they're at home. They're not how they are when they're just normal. They come and they get a coat of starstruckness, and then they become something that's fake. So then they're like, oh, there he is. Oh my God. And when they're in that zone, they'll almost do anything, whether it's giving somebody head or making out with them in the back of the show or jumping on stage and flashing their breasts. Like, they'll do stuff like that because they get hit with that high jolt of adrenaline and energy, and then they just don't know. And then they might even go home and be like, why did I flash the whole entire crowd for this rapper? What was I thinking? Oh my God, I hope that's not on Facebook. My mother's gonna kill me if she sees. But they're in that zone. They're not thinking that at the time because it's fun. But I try to keep that same state of mind. I try to have that mindset to where it's like, okay, how am I gonna be when I go home? What am I gonna think when I go home or the next day? I put myself in that mind state. So when I go to my shows, I'm just like, this isn't even real right now. These girls are fake, and I'm not gonna contribute to that. Even guys are fake too, just as far as their energy. When you see somebody, you completely lose who you are. When you see somebody that you idolize or a star, you lose who you are almost. It's just like, you can be the coolest person in the world. You can even have a gangster who's like, yeah, man, I don't care about none of these motherfuckers, man. And then soon as let Tupac come back to life, to be like, oh crap, yo man, you don't even know, man, you were like my idol, man, yo, we need to kick it. They'll just be a whole new person, and they'll lose all that stuff they're talking about because they're starstruck. And you gotta be careful when you become starstruck, because you lose who you are. You lose who you are, and you won't get back to yourself until you leave that person's sight and it calms down. But yeah, man, all that money stuff, it's like, it's just, life isn't about that. Money is man-made. Girls aren't man-made, and they are wonderful. Too many girls in somebody's life can be bad, because it can drive a man crazy. It'll be a good kind of crazy, but then it'll turn to a bad kind of crazy. You're like, oh, all these girls, yeah. And it'll be like, because there's always that feeling afterwards where you're like, oh, what am I doing, man? And everybody I know a lot of successful people who have it like that, and they always say the same thing. They've lived that life, they've been through it, but at the end, it's just like, man, there has to be something more to life, man. There has to be something more, because it gets played out, and yeah, you just get tired of it. So this reason I posted that on Twitter was to let everybody know, like, yo, just think of what you're gonna be doing outside of that, because when you get there, I promise you, you're gonna get to the top, and it's not gonna be what you thought it was. It won't. You will realize this once you get to that point. But the climb is fun, though. It's good to have the imagination and the fantasy of, man, I can't wait till I'm getting there, this or that. But that fantasy is probably the funnest part of trying to make it in the rap game, having that fantasy. Because when you get there, it's popped. It's done. It's like, okay, I'm here. Now what? That's what you're going to say.